Hola, hola, todos. This is your boy Tico Trend, and I'm going to talk about the manosphere at large for the most part. And this is something I've been meaning to do for a while now. I've been meaning to do this since forever. Because I did it for my Spanish channel, but I didn't do it for my English speaking channel. And I'm sorry about that. I'm running late. I'm sorry. I'm going to change up like the wording though, but most definitely. But the thing, I'm going to first start off by prefacing this when it comes to the manosphere. There's no such thing as black MGTOW. In the story, I'm already debunking it. Fuck what you heard. Fuck all y'all. There's no such thing as a black MGTOW. As black MGTOW. They're all their own separate entity for the most part. They do their own thing. They don't really. Pretty much, they have differences within the group. I'll make another video on that, saying the differences for the most part. Well, there's be some differences in this one when it comes to the Latin MGTOW, Spanish-speaking MGTOWs or the Latin-speaking MGTOWs versus the English-speaking MGTOWs. But for the most part, and IBMOR, and Red Pill. But for the most part, there's no such thing as black MGTOW in the story. That's basically a nice way to basically corral a bunch of people into one group for the most part. Because, like, you can't really bring IBMOR and say they're black MGTOW. You can't really say they're black MGTOW because you can't really classify them as black MGTOW for the fact that they do their own thing and they go off on their own tangent. They go off on their own thing. And the thing about it is, what a lot of people don't realize about IBMOR is the thing about IBMOR, when they make content, they don't just make content. They don't just make content. They don't just go do research. They don't just go do this stuff. They basically get information. They actually get information from the horse's mouth. They don't like go get some content, find some content, and make a video about it. They'll go literally have like a round table with a group of people, come back and give you their analysis on that group of people for the most part. That's exactly how they do it. So, like, it's not shocking to see IBMOR actually go and have a round table with a bunch of women, hear their honest opinion on it, and then come back and then address what they said in that whole entire interview for the most part, or in that round table. That's something that I've been trying to do for a while, but like I just really haven't had the time to actually get a bunch of women. But I do get women in my Spanish speaking channel, and I do get women in my other channels, that non-English channels for the most part. But the thing is, though, I get a general analysis. You get an introspect on a lot of the shit that's going on, their mentality, their stuff like that. Whereas, like, it's one thing to look at something, look at a group of things, or look at somebody on YouTube and say, well, you know, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. It's another thing to actually talk to a bunch of women from that group, in a big-ass group, and actually come back with your analysis. There's a difference. Like, what you see on YouTube is not always what you see on YouTube can sometimes be true, but like that only covers a small demographic of people. What you need to go do is actually find a bunch of people and actually have a conversation with those people and then come back. Or have a female friend that just is on some straight black pill shit. Like, that's just facts, because like that's basically how IBMOR operates. They basically go what they call it in our war. They go behind enemy lines to basically gather information, gather intel. They're basically like the CIA, the CIA, or the Navy SEALs of the manosphere for the most part, because they literally go behind enemy lines on a regular basis. They literally go behind enemy lines to gather information and intelligence for the most part. That is the fundamental difference between Red Pillars and IBMOR and MGTOW for the most part. IBMOR's like the CIA or the Navy SEALs of the manosphere, because they literally go behind enemy lines to gather information on some espionage shit. I'm not saying they commit espionage, but they literally go behind enemy lines, damn near like espionage, to gather information so they can actually make their content, is what I mean by that. And that's the thing that people don't realize about the whole thing. And they get confused with it more, and they want to get angry at it more, but for all intents and purposes, That's what IBMOR does. They literally go behind enemy lines to gather information. No matter what the fuck's going on, no matter how many shells are falling, no matter how many times you tell them not to, no, don't do it. Them niggas is going behind enemy lines to get that information because they believe and looking at everything from a unbiased and and with introspect for the most part. Hence their name. Hence their acronym. Another group of people that I've noticed in the manosphere that are vastly different is the Spanish-speaking MGTOWs and the Spanish-speaking Red Pillars. Now, a lot of things that I notice about the Spanish-speaking MGTOWers and the Spanish-speaking Red Pillars altogether is they don't really fight. They very rarely bicker. They very rarely bicker with each other. And if you ever do catch a glimpse of that, that's usually like if you go to a debate class in high school and you basically debate back and forth to make each other better for the most part. And that's all that really is for the most part. They basically debate back with each other, debate back and forth with each other to make each other better. The thing that I love about the Latin manosphere is that they don't sling mud like the Latin MGTOWers and the Latin Red Pillars don't sling mud at each other for the most part like they do in the English speaking manosphere. You'll see one minute you'll see one of the people from the Red Man group or one of the people from the 20 whatever the hell it's called and another MGTOWer just slinging mud at each other. The Spanish manosphere for the most part doesn't do that. And the neat thing about the MGTOW in the Spanish-speaking manosphere is uniformly all the MGTOW in the Spanish-speaking manosphere are all monks. They're all frickin' monks. It's just facts. You might not like it. It's just facts. And the Red Pillars who do engage, the Red Pillars in the Spanish-speaking manosphere do engage in relationships. They basically take that Red Pill knowledge and put it into practice in there. And they, for the most part, a lot of them, I haven't really checked on all of them, but a lot of them have very successful relationships. And they apply that shit. And for the most part, it's pretty nice. It's pretty even keeled and it's pretty laxed in the Spanish manosphere for the most part because they don't sling mud at each other. And they get along. Red Pill and MGTOW, they get along. They're pretty uniformal on both sides. They're pretty uniformal. And the irony to that is the middle ground, even if you go to their middle grounds, the dividing line between them being Red Pill and MGTOW, it's pretty uniformal for the most part. These group might date, and this group doesn't date. They're monks for the most part. So at the same time, you see a lot of this shit, and it's very interesting. So when you go and look at the English-speaking manosphere, it kind of sort of disheartens you for the most part, and you kind of get sad when you look at how the Red Pill community is treating the MGTOW community, how the MGTOW community is treating the Red Pill community in the English-speaking manosphere. And it's like, over here in the Spanish-speaking manosphere, that shit doesn't exist. And if it does, it's like very rare that it actually pops up. But for the most part, it doesn't exist. All this mudslinging doesn't exist. And everybody gets along for all intents and purposes. And even if they don't get along, you'll still see that person on a podcast with another motherfucker, basically. Because it's all about community unity, for the most part. And that's the thing that I love about the Spanish-speaking manosphere. Like, it's all about community unity. And I love that. And it makes me proud when I see that type of stuff. Another thing I've noticed about SYSBM, because everybody always gets it twisted when it comes to SYSBM. The thing about SYSBM, as a general, I'll get into like the breakdown in another video. The general thing about SYSBM that people don't understand or get is these are men who, for all intents and purposes, realize their value. And if you don't want to acknowledge their value, it's almost like the kid that goes, fuck it, I'm taking my ball and I'm going elsewhere. It's that simple. It's the guy that comes to he's basically the guy who comes to the court and he's only with the ball and you need him to play. because you didn't bring a ball and he's the only one with the ball. Or if you go to play baseball, he's the only one with he's the only one with the ball and bat for the most part. So when you piss him off, he basically takes all his assets and he basically just goes. That's basically SYSBM in a nutshell for the most part. He's the guy that brings all the equipment, but when you disrespect him, he's like, fuck off all y'all, I'm going over here and I'm doing my own damn thing. For the most part. That's basically SYSBM in a nutshell, for the most part. Now, there's probably some people in SYSBM that'll probably say, Tico, now you simplify that way too fucking much. And that sounds kind of mean. No, but it's, once you think about it, it's facts. Because SYSBM would actually literally pick up where they are and just roll on somebody, basically. It is what it is. Like, the best people as far as SYSBM, like public figures I could think of would be Kobe. Kobe, you have one master teacher, even though he doesn't really consider himself, because at one point he considered himself MGTOW, then he said, no, I'm not MGTOW. One master teacher would actually be SYSBM. All the black people who travel across the world, for all intents and purposes, to actually get value out of their lives and actually enjoy life and enjoy the world for the most part, are all SYSBM. Even the channels where you got black in Japan or black in China or black in Korea, all those people are all SYSBM. To some extent, they may not associate with the group, but they're all SYSBM to an extent. Then you got the ones that stick around, who will sometimes, you'll see them, instead of like they'll try to rebuild their community, and if they don't get nowhere, they'll say fuck it, and they'll go and help rebuild another community and do well with themselves, and to basically get themselves better for the most part. And the neat thing about SYSBM is they're more active. They're not as passive as MGTOW. MGTOW is basically a very passive philosophy that people try to take and run with and twist and make it so that it's like a crazy group, but like it's not a crazy group. It's meant to be a passive group. But back to SYSBM. SYSBM is a very active group. They would be like your like I said, they'd be the person who brings all the utilities or all the necessities to the damn table, so we can actually make shit happen. And if you disrespect them, they'll say, fuck it, I'm out. Then you'll realize, okay, that nigga got the basketball. Like, how are we going to play basketball without the basketball? How are we going to play baseball without the bat and the ball? Like, how are we going to do all this shit without this shit? Like, literally, that's what SYSBM is. And that's what they do. They know, they're black men who know their value, or men that know their value, and are willing to actually pick up, leave, and actually import their value or take their value elsewhere for the most part. And I know I just generalized it, but I didn't want to complicate things, and I will get into another video on the whole entire thing for the most part. And like they pretty much engage the community, or they engage into various forms, not all forms, but like small forms or various forms of they're very active in the community, and they're very active around the world, and they're very active people for the most part. They always have their hands into some stuff, or they're always doing some stuff to improve themselves, or help another person to improve for the most part. So they're very active. Like, they just don't wait. They don't just wait for shit to happen to try to help somebody else. They basically do a shit ton of preventative. It's almost like a hospital or health insurance. Preventative care is everything for the most part. We want to prevent shit as much as we want to stop shit from happening, as much as we want to prevent ourselves from actually getting this far. We want to prevent men from going as far as the top belt, call you up saying, I'm going to commit suicide. SYSBM is an active group because, like, they do their best to actually prevent that from actually going that fucking far, if you know what I mean. And that's the thing that I love about the SYSBM group, because, like, they do a lot of wellness checks on other brothers, and they do a lot of preventative measures so they can actually prevent people from actually getting that far. Because the problem with people getting that far is you never know if you're going to be able to reach out and help that person. And I hate when people get that far, and it bothers me for the most part because, okay, nobody's seen any signs, really? Nobody's seen any signs. Now we just lost a brother, basically. And that's the thing that I love about the SYSBM community. They do a lot of preventative and wellness checks on other people in the manosphere. And they make sure that you're not literally on the ledge, for the most part. They make sure you're still in the doorway and you're not on a rooftop trying to talk about, I'm jumping off. They make sure you're still in your apartment. Metaphorically, they make sure you're still in your apartment and you haven't left your door and you haven't went up to the roof and you're just going about your merry way, for the most part. That's generally a consensus on SYSBM. The interesting thing that bothers me about the English-speaking manosphere, I find interesting about the English-speaking manosphere for the most part, is they're not all uniformal and they're able to pull it off, even though they got certain people that go too far with certain things. And like, it's one of them things where it's like, it's almost like the things where it's like, okay, we accept you no matter what, but I just killed 7 people, we'll still accept you. It's like it's one of those things where it's like they make you feel all included, but the problem with that, the only downfall to that is their ability to not. I mean, every now and again, you might hear somebody come out and like denounce somebody, but very rarely do you actually hear somebody denounce somebody in the English-speaking manosphere for the most part. I mean, except with the occasional red pill banter where they start slinging mud at MGTOW, and the occasional purple pill MGTOW mudslinging thing that goes on. Even the one recently was a little more than mudslinging. It was more or less RPG rocket slinging at that point. And that's the thing I've noticed. Like, and that's the thing I've noticed. And it's like, it's kind of weird because it bothers me because I come from the Spanish-speaking manosphere. For the most part, I participated in the black-speaking manosphere, and I did dabble in this one. But the thing that bothered me and made me dishearten me was the fact that I'm not used to seeing red pill and MGTOW go at each other like that, and I'm not used to seeing MGTOW go at other MGTOW like that, because in the Spanish-speaking manosphere, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. So that bothered me to no end. That bothers me. And the thing about it is, because I don't like to see that, and it bothers me, it's like, it's one of the things where it's like, you know what, I'm no longer calling myself red pill, and I'm no longer going to even do this shit no more, because I don't want to be associated with this shit, red pill and or MGTOW. So I'm going to take a different approach in retrospect. And the approach that I eventually took was like, because if you ever notice, a lot of my live streams, it has people that normally English-speaking MGTOW will be slinging mud at or talking shit on, and everybody, because like I'm an all-inclusive person. So I actually took some of the stuff from IBMOR and actually bought it to like the no ox shit videos that I do, and I in the forum and table flip for the most part. So all the stuff that you would hear normal MGTOWers and red pillars actually denounce and throw mud at, I basically took the IBMOR approach and actually, I want to hear their opinion. I want to hear what they got to say. I want to hear their thoughts. And if you ever notice with the no ox shit, you basically hear everybody's opinion on certain things. And the thing that I'm trying to bring to the forefront is, how can we take this person's opinion and agree to disagree within a civil manner for the most part? Because like if you notice, me and MGTOW Dictionary actually disagreed on the whole entire approach from Look's thing, but I let him do his thing and let him talk about his thing. And the thing I noticed, like, if I sit there and try to argue with somebody who believes a certain thing, I'm doing nothing more than devaluing my argument for the most part. And this is the problem that I have with a lot of people in the manosphere. You're basically devaluing your argument by trying to toss it at somebody that's not going to accept it. It's almost like you're trying to force it down somebody else's throat for the most part. And it sucks, but it's so true. You're literally forcing your argument down somebody's throat who's not going to accept it or doesn't want to accept it or has their own line of beliefs. And this is what the Ox shit last stream and the table flip last streams is for. It's for people to realize. I'm trying to bring more unity into the English-speaking MGTOW Red Pill community for the most part. Because all this mudslinging is going to do nothing more than put us in purple pill. All this mudslinging is going to do nothing more than to make it so that we're more disillusioned and we hate each other even more for the most part. Then we got to have a coming back together party for the most part, which really sucks. We shouldn't have to have that. We shouldn't be mad at each other. We should be able to have these debates with each other and see different people's ideas, accept them, not really like them, but accept them, or agree to disagree and just keep on moving. And that's what I actually tried to do with the no ox shit or the table flip live streams that I do. Not everybody's going to agree on some shit, but you see me, even though I don't agree with people, I let them have their shine for the most part. Even though I don't agree with half the shit that the people say, sometimes a lot of the shit that people say, I let them have their time to shine because I realize that everybody has an opinion. And not everybody's going to be uniformal in the English-speaking manosphere. So my thoughts on the English-speaking manosphere is everybody has their own opinion. Everybody comes from all walks of life. Everybody comes from a different culture for the most part. And what I'm actually trying to do with the no ox shit, and like I said in the table flip live streams, is basically bring togetherness in the community, or in the philosophy, English-speaking philosophy and community, and bring awareness that, no, we're not all going to agree, but we can at least have a debate and not want to fuck each other up after or talk shit on each other for the most part. This is what I'm trying to bring to the forefront in the English-speaking manosphere. And if you ever notice with me, I actually am very strategic and I've planned shit in advance. And a lot of people miss this about me. So, like, all this shit was actually in my mind to do way back when, in like probably like May, June of last year for the most part. So I actually had plans on doing this shit even still. So like, and the one thing if people ever notice about me and they get mad at me, well, Tika, why did you have him on your show? Because I want to hear his side of the story and I want him to learn our side of the story. And the sad part about it is you can't really teach somebody if they're not willing to listen and you're always willing to like sling mud at them. You can't teach nobody shit. If somebody has an ideology or somebody has a certain beliefs, there's no way in hell, no matter how many times you tried to spin it to actually get them to understand it, if they already believe something, they already believe something. So you have to let it go. You just basically have to listen to their opinion and let their opinion roll for the most part. And it sucks. And everybody has too much pride and nobody wants to do that. And that seems to be a underlying problem because, like, I know what I believe and that's final. But the difference is, I realized when I did this, I actually have to take the IBMOR approach to shit, minus some of the comments that they say when somebody actually says something that is opposing. I tried to take an introspective look at everything. Because at the end of the day, what a lot of people don't realize is I'm an introvert. So when somebody's talking, I actually sit there and listen. Even when I interject, I'm still listening. Or even when I interject something into the thing, I'm still listening. I'm still active listening. Because I have the gift to actually listen while interjecting in things, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people close off their minds and they close their ears and they just want to argue with people. And the sad part about arguing is if a person doesn't feel accepted, they're not going to see your value. They're going to see you as a hostile for the most part. And you've seen a good example of that in my last stream last night for Table Flip with me and MGTOW Dictionary. I don't agree with everything he says, but I like the man because he has his own opinion and he has his convictions. For the most part. Because I look at it like this. Like, I do stuff based on personal experience and what I see in life. I do take some statistics but then I combine them with what I see in life, in daily life. So that's basically what I do, and that's how my content comes into fruition for the most part. Nonetheless, but generally across the board, when it comes to MGTOW and red pillars, they tend to do a lot of mudslinging, and they do less conversating and more mudslinging than anything. And it's sad, but it's true. Even the purple pillars, every now and again, they'll throw some underhanded punches or underhanded jabs at people for the most part. But at the same time, if you call yourself this and you call yourself these things, you have to learn to actually accept others' opinions so you can actually move on and be better people for the most part. All this unnecessary bickering is unnecessary. At the end of the day, it's all about community unity. And the English-speaking one actually has very less community for the most part. Community unity, for the most part. Except for IBMOR. Even our red pillars even our English-speaking red pillars are fractured. Even the English-speaking MGTOWs are fractured. Hell, they have clicks within clicks within clicks within clicks within clicks within clicks in the English-speaking MGTOW, and they have clicks that overlaps other clicks, and one person might be a part of this click and that click, basically. So, and that's the thing that you'll see in a lot of the English-speaking manosphere. It sucks, but it's true. Because I've learned to actually sit back, look at everything, step back out of the situation, and look at everything like it's a chalkboard. It's kind of like my one intro where there's a guy sitting there looking at a chalkboard with a problem. That's basically how I look at the manosphere. How the fuck can I fix this complex problem? Is exactly how I look at the manosphere. And I look at it like this, like, okay, this one group over here is fine. I don't have to worry about them. Eventually I gotta broker a deal so they can actually interact with these people, but first I gotta deal with these people and make them so they're not looking like they're dysfunctional first. Then I got these people over here that only speak Spanish, so when I get them to actually interact with these people, I'm gonna need an interpreter, me, or Kindle Rican, or Orange Tango, or Sweet Padre, to basically be the translator between the Spanish-speaking MGTOW and the Spanish-speaking red pillars and the English-speaking ones. And then you have like IBMOR for the most part is IBMOR, and they do practice a lot of the stuff that they do have a lot of this stuff in place, like the Spanish-speaking manosphere does for the most part. Granted, every now and again you might hear them bicker and argue and not want to talk to each other, but for all intents and purposes, eventually, after all heads cool and all heads prevail, they actually come back and actually talk to each other for the most part. They may not agree. They'll realize that, okay, maybe that was a dumb move, and maybe this, that, and the other. We'll just agree to disagree for the most part and move on. The same goes for SYSBM. It's all about learning to agree to disagree and like basically bettering yourself for the most part. Value yourself. And my thing with a lot of the stuff that a lot of the people say in the English-speaking manosphere is, I take what they say and I try to figure out if it fits me. No matter how crazy or outlandish it is, I'll take it. I'll go, okay, can I fit this into my milieu? Does this conflict with my milieu? Does this conflict with my beliefs? If it conflicts and it doesn't fit, then I won't incorporate it. However, I will use it as a devil's advocate tool for a later date and time. So I'll use somebody else's argument, or I'll use it and I'll expound upon it and actually use it as a devil's advocate video for the most part. Or if a man was on this video, if you've ever noticed, but a lot of people tend to not really notice that type of stuff when I do that. Or when I'm playing devil's advocate in a video where I'll say one thing, but then I'll play the other side of the fence and say another thing. Basically what that's doing is basically to incorporate everybody I'm talking about in it, and to be more of a self-help for the most part. There's this, and then there's this, but then there's somewhere in the middle for the most part is my beliefs on things. That's generally my thoughts on it. And like a lot of people will say, well, Tico, you didn't talk about this, or Tico, you didn't leave that out. Well, there's going to be another video for that, so calm it on down. But yeah, I drugged this on long enough, so everybody have a blessed day. Peace.
Sentry gun deployed.